What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, bringing you our draft analysis for Season 1 of the GALAR Defenders League, aka the GDL. First of all, huge shout out to Leo, aka 6foot Hacks, and to Aaron, Aaron2420, for being the commissioners of this league. And then a secondary shout out to John Jr., who is the graphic designer for this league, which is just phenomenal. The logo is amazing. I don't know if he made draft slides or not. Regardless, I'm deciding to use my capture card to kind of go over the mods I have. But I don't have Dragapult. I already have that in one league. I want to use something else, so I went with something else. This league is pretty good. There is capability for Dynamaxing, again, just like in the PCL. The PCL was tier 3 and below. The GDL is tier 5 only. So if it's a tier 5 mon, you can use Dynamax moves. You can Dynamax, and I think that's pretty good. I think it's a good way to balance it out. It still is completely broken, but it's a good-ish way to balance it out. Regardless, let's just get into the team that we have for this week, or for for this season. Oh my god. I'm going to kind of go over quickly what I can find here. Where is it? So this should be the 7th of January, because that was when I am scheduled to upload it, but I am recording this on New Year's Eve, so yeah. In terms of uploads, I believe it is a 10-week regular season or 8-week regular season. I can't remember off the top of my head schedule. Let's see if I can find that. I don't know. Yeah, I can't find it. But regardless, our week 1 battles will be going up on January 12th. So yeah, that's in a couple days. Make sure to come by and check that one out. Anyways, let's just go ahead and jump into it. We had, I believe it was the 7th pick of the draft or the 8th pick of the draft. It was a 12. Yeah, it was 8th. It was a 12-team draft, so we were kind of middle of the pack-ish. Closer towards the end, I was kind of hoping for a higher seed, higher draft. All right, I don't really remember exactly where I was. I think I was talking about the draft order. So we had the 8th pick, kind of middle of the road-ish. There wasn't anything crazy good left. I felt like the top 7 were really, really solid. Like, I'm going to try and pull up the top 7 right now, if I can do that, because the top 7 were really good. Top 7, we had, I think number 1 was Galar Defenders, obviously. Yeah, so Galar Defenders, then Dragapult, Aegislash, Dracovish, Mew, Excadrill, Corviknight. Those are the top 7, which are all solid. There's a couple of really good mons that were left. I honestly felt like I had to go with one specific mon, and I felt like it wasn't really going to be much of a debate, even though it lost a lot of options without having access to Pokemon Home. And I took Hydreigon. So Hydreigon is really solid. It's got pretty good speed base. 98 is good. It's got ridiculous attacking stats with, I believe, 125 special attack, and or I think it's 145 special attack. Could be wrong. And so like 115 attack. It's got access to U-turn, tons of dragon moves. It's got access to Nasty Plot now, which is terrifying. It's a really good Scarf Mon. Basically, the fact that it doesn't have to rely on, doesn't have to deal with random hidden power ices or hidden power fightings or bugs or whatever, is useful. There's not as many fairies in this generation as there was in previous generations. I still have to watch out for them, but it's a really strong mon in the game. Tons of coverage options, including Dark, Steel, Dragon, Fire, Bug with U-turn. I believe it's Hyper Voice still, so it's got a couple of really strong options for us. It can be physical or special with superpower, which is nice. And basically, I think it actually does. It gets Dragon Dance now, which is also very nice. So I can run a Dragon Dance set while my opponent fears a Scarf set, set up the Dragon Dance that they switch out into their counter, and that way I'm still +1 on my speed, and I can switch up my moves, which is very useful. So that's that there. Hydreigon is really good. I'm excited to use it. I wasn't that good with it in not Sword and Shield, in Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I believe I used it once, and I struggled. But I'm hoping that because it's a more offensive game and there's the 20-minute timer, it's going to force me to play more offensively, and it's going to make me a bit better with this mon. Moving on, though, our next pick. I really like this pick for us. I think it was very useful because it pairs extremely well with Hydreigon. Hydreigon is immune to Psychic and immune to Ground. This Pokemon is weak to Ground and Psychic. Hydreigon is weak to Ice and to Fairy. This mon and Dragon, but forget that. This mon is resisting Ice and Fairy, and I didn't really see myself drafting this, especially in this generation, but I went with Toxapex. Toxapex is solid. It's got ridiculous defensive stats. It's absolutely bonkers. It's got Regenerator as an ability, which is fantastic. It's just really solid overall. In terms of what it does offensively, not much. You got Gunk Shot, you got Liquidation, you get Scald, you got Toxic Spikes, which is nice, but that's pretty much it. It's basically just meant to be a pivot and make sure that I can get into Hydreigon really easily and then just kind of start punching my opponent's team with my offensive options, which, you know what, I'm not sure how much I like compared to a lot of the other teams. That's what happens when like Darmanitan Galar or Galar Darmanitan and Aegislash and Dragapult go really early. It like basically Hydreigon doesn't look as fierce, but this is a pretty solid option. It allows me to take hits from the Galar Darmanitan, even though I believe I'll probably still be 2k out after Rocks if he's running Choice Banded, which is absolutely terrifying. There's a reason that thing got banned from OU, but yeah, no, Toxapex is solid. It basically is going to be what it is. Like, I've used Marini. I felt pretty confident using Marini. The fact that I can run an eject button on this is nice, or a red card, whichever is the one that switches me out. So I can take the hit, switch out, get my regenerator back, so I'm back to whatever HP I need to be at, and then go into a threat, which is very nice. I feel like that's going to be a very common thing, especially when you pair that with something like our next mon, which is very useful because it traps things for us, and that is Dugtrio. Dugtrio is our ground type for this season. It's not the strongest thing in the world. It's not even the most speedy thing in the world. It's not going to take a hit, but it's got Arena Trap as an ability, which is fantastic, allowing me to trap opposing monsters that can be a threat to my Pokemon. Something like a Poison type or a Steel type, like Fire type, are going to be just completely obliterated by my Earthquake. Flying types are not going to appreciate it. I believe they're not affected by Arena Trap though, so that's something I have to keep in mind. But basically, it's just a really solid mod that can get up Stealth Rocks for me, which is very nice. And it's just something that could hopefully pair pretty well with my starting two that were both tier 1 mons. Our next mon is going to be our Tsareena. Now, Tsareena here is solid. Kind of early for it, especially in a 12-team draft, but it gave me things that I needed, which was U-Turn. It gave me a Ground Resist outside of something like that was going to get, well, because Mold Breaker is obviously a move, or an ability rather. It gives me Synthesis, it gives me Aromatherapy, U-Turn I mentioned, Rapid Spin for support there is very nice, very important to have for my team, especially because I don't have Hydreigon just coming in, take 25% or 12% from rocks every time it comes in, because it's going to be doing a lot of pivoting. Its attack stat is actually pretty good, and its speed stat isn't that bad. I believe it's 75, which is a bit below average this game, but it's still not that bad. Like, I'd say maybe 80 is average in this game, but 75 is still not the worst thing in the world. Drop Kick always lowers my opponent's attack by 1 stage, which is very nice. It gets access to, I believe, Thunder Wave, and it definitely gets access to High Jump Kick and Play Rough, which are both very strong, powerful moves, so we can use that. And we can use it as a breaker. I used it when it first came out, and I used Choice Scarf Tsareena once or twice, and it put in a little bit of work, and I'm hoping it can do the same kind of thing for us, even though it likely will play a more defensive role for this team. Moving on though, I decided to grab a Accelgor here, and shout out to Ultra Player for this pick. It is in tier 4, it is ridiculously fast. It is the fastest mon in the game outside of Ninjask, I believe, which was not drafted. So that means we will always be able to outspeed something outside of Scarfers, which is very nice. It also doesn't hit, it hits pretty hard. It's got moves like Sludge Bomb, Bug Buzz, Focus Miss, Focus Miss, U-Turn, Spikes and Toxic Spikes as well, so the backup Spiker for Toxapex. It's just something that's really solid for us and can be really deadly against our opponent depending on their team. And a lot of the teams do struggle with this type combination, or with the coverage combination that Accelgor provides. The big ones, again, Bug, Poison, and Fighting. So the fact that it lost out on Hidden Powers is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world, and I think Accelgor is going to be a really good addition to our team, especially with all the U-Turn we have going on, because that really is the big thing with our team right now. We have U-Turn with 3 mons that will easily get us into our Dugtrio, or easily get us into our Toxapex, which can either then wall or get rid of an opponent's Pokemon pretty quickly, which is very nice. Our next mon is Snorlax. Snorlax is a mon that comes to my teams all the time. I'm always drafting it, and that's because it's so freaking good. It's also ridiculously underpriced. I believe this thing was in tier 2 or tier 3. I think it was tier 2. But regardless, it's so freaking good. It's an ice resist, it's a fire resist, it's a ghost immunity. It's very powerful. It gets a belly drum and it gets curse. Both moves are incredibly good on Snorlax, and it's got 3 fantastic abilities, amazing coverage, and it's just a really good special wall overall. It is a fighting weakness that we have, and it adds on to the fighting weakness we had with the what is it called? With Hydreigon, but we do have Toxapex, which is an amazing fighting counter on our team, and we also have a Accelgor, which, even though it's not a fighting counter, it's a resist, and even though it's pretty frail, it still technically resists. So we have that going for us at least, and I'm excited to use Snorlax. I always am. I feel like it's going to be an amazing addition to our team. It is just something that everyone has to prep for, no matter what. There aren't like an insane amount of steel types, aren't an insane amount of ghost types, and if there are, not many teams have a good one of both, so I can just run Body Slam, Crunch, Rest, and Curse, and I'll be good to go. So I'm happy with that. Moving on though, our next pick, we have Aromatisse. This is a cleric for us because I think it's very important to have a good Wish Passer in this generation as well as a good Fairy, because there are a lot of strong Dragon types going around. There's 3 pseudos from the previous games, and then the Dragapult from this game, and there's also Drampa, there's also, what is it called? Turtonator. There's tons of fighting types as well. It's ridiculous how many options there are for these types. Dark types are also pretty prevalent in the game as well. It gives me a Trick Room setter as well, which is very useful for something like our Snorlax, which could be very deadly. It gets Nasty Plot. Aromatisse is very, very good for what it is. It's obviously not the greatest thing in the world. It's not the best fairy ever, but it gets Wish, it gets Aromatherapy, it gets like I said, Moonblast, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind. It's just what it is and what it does for my team is very important, and thankfully we were able to get a fairy type because there weren't many good ones left in the draft, and we don't have a Dragon Resist yet. Moving on though, we have our next pick, which is Passimian. This thing, I'm really excited. I'm really happy that it made it back to me because it's so freaking good. It gets Defiant in this generation, which is amazing. It gets access to tons of coverage, including U-Turn, Close Combat. You get like a knockoff. You get like Iron Head. I'm pretty sure you actually get a knockoff. Don't quote me on that. But like I'm confident you do, but I'm not 100% positive. It's got really solid coverage and it's pretty fast. I believe it's got base 90 speed, something like that, 90 or 80 speed. Regardless, even though it's not the fastest thing in the world, the fact that it's a fighting type that really provides a ton of pressure and stops my opponent from clicking Defog or clicking moves that would lower my attacking stat, I can really use that to my advantage, and it gives me another U-turner, so I can get into my Trick Room setter or my Trick Room abuser in Snorlax or Aromatisse, or get me into more offense like Dugtrio, Hydreigon, or even Snorlax again. So I'm happy that we got Passimian. It's going to be very solid for us. And for tier 4 or tier 3 even, it's just a phenomenal pick. There's so many good fighting types, and I think Passimian is one of the best in this generation because of Defiant and because of its coverage. Moving on though, we have our Dynamax captain. Yes, our tier 5 Dynamax captain being Togedemaru. Yeah, this thing is... who would have thought I would have drafted Togedemaru? This thing is weak to ground types and weak to fighting types and weak to fire types. Fire types I cover pretty well. Ground types, I have my Tsareena being resistant, my Accelgor being resistant, and then I have my my Hydreigon being immune if there's no Mold Breaker. It's an electric type. It gives me Lightning Rod, which is nice. It's a Dynamax captain, which is very good because it does get Z Bounce, or not Z Bounce, but Dynamax Bounce, so Max Airstream, which boosts my speed. It's already pretty fast, and with powerful moves like Wild Charge and I don't know what other physical moves it gets on the electric side, but Wild Charge is the big one, or with Spark, I don't know. It gets Iron Head, which is nice. Spiky Shield is a move. U-Turn as well. It's got decent enough coverage to get the job done for being a Dynamax captain, and I think it's fast enough to take advantage of some of the other Dynamax captains, which are all pretty damn slow. But yeah, it was this or my next tier 5, which is my last mon in the draft, and I think Togedemaru definitely was better because it has the option for the Max Airstream, which again does boost my speed by 1. So I felt that was a very important thing. It was something that I want to focus on when getting my Dynamax captain. Make sure I had a way to either boost my attack, special attack, or speed, and hopefully all 3. But in this case, I believe I can only do my attack. Maybe I think I get Power Punch or something, or like Seismic Toss. I don't know, something like that. Regardless, our next mon and final mon is going to be Dusknoir. This thing is a normal resist and a fighting immunity, or sorry, normal and fighting immunity. That's what I want to say. It's very important because our team does have issues dealing with normal and fighting types because our steel type isn't the greatest mon in the world. It's just a Togedemaru. I don't have a rock type, so I needed a ghost type. It's pretty offensive. It's got, I believe, like 125 attack, which is very nice. It's got great coverage, Shadow Punch, the elemental punches. It's got access to Earthquake as well, which is nice. It's just something solid. It's got good, what is it called, utility options as well. At least it did in previous generations. I'm hoping I can use it well in Gen 8 now. I feel like Dusknoir is something that is... It's going to be overlooked by a lot of teams, and they're not going to realize that, oh yeah, ghost types just kind of run through my team. It's not the fastest thing as well, but I do have Trick Room options, and even then, I'm not afraid to slap on a Scarf on this thing and say, hey, look, it's a Scarf Dusknoir, you don't have a Ghost Resist, haha. But yeah, that's our team, guys, so I'll just back out now, and you see this is the squad. We have our Hydreigon, our Toxapex. I'm going to put this way. So Hydreigon, Toxapex, if it'll load, Dugtrio, if it'll load, Tsareena, Accelgor, Snorlax, Aromatisse, Passimian, Togedemaru, and Dusknoir. of these 10 mons, let me know which one you think will be the MVP of our team. Right now, I'm leaning towards Snorlax being the MVP for us. I think setting up Curse is going to be a very viable strategy, especially against teams that don't have the greatest fighting type in the world, or the greatest ghost type, because I can just click return, basically. If I don't have to worry about fighting type, cool. If I don't have to worry about a ghost type, I can just click return. Even if it's resisted, it's still going to do tons of damage if I get to +2 or +3. I'm excited for the season. Going to be tons of fun. The biggest threat to my team, I think, Galar Defenders is one. I would say Dragapult is definitely another, because it doesn't get trapped by the by Dugtrio. I believe it doesn't, at least. It outspeeds Hydreigon, and it's pretty close to being in speed tying with Accelgor, and Accelgor doesn't. I don't think it gets Shadow Ball or something this generation, or even HP Ice. Obviously not. So that's a big threat. And then in terms of other Tier 1 mons, Corviknight is a problem. Sand is a problem. My God, there's just so many things that are problems for us. So I'm gonna call it here. Our captain is going to be Hydreigon because it's our first pick. I believe it should be doing tons of work this season. I shouldn't have to focus on it too much and make it be the MVP. So hopefully it just is. Yeah. But anyways, that's our team, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like on the video. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. First battle is going up on the 12th, I believe it was. That's why I said, I'm pretty sure. I can double check that. Yeah, January 12th. I will see you guys back here for week 1 when we should be playing against Diet Timer rather, and his new Bryn Rockruff. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.